I'd like to call to order the Norwich School Board Special Meeting of August 24th, 2021. A few minutes late, so we'll get into it right away. The first thing on our agenda is the agenda review. Do any of the board members or administrators have anything they'd like to amend, move, delete, etc.? Okay, I will address one thing right now. The business requiring discussion references to policy, delegation of authority to ongoing presence of COVID-19 pandemic. We will be considering doing that, but as my colleague on the board, Neil, reminded me, we do need a 10-day notice to actually have policy. So what we are going to consider tonight is a motion to delegate authority with an official policy at a date to be determined that is at least 10 days from now. So that is the amendment I have for business requiring discussion 4A. With that, let's move on down our list to public comment. We do have some public, and if anyone has anything they'd like to address that they don't see on the agenda, I will hear that now. And I see Jenny Barba does. So Tom, would you mind? And Jenny, please just your name again and where you live.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Hi, this is Jenny Barba. I live in Norwich, Vermont. And I sent a letter in and I just wanted to share it with the committee, the school board. So dear SAU 70 Norwich School Board, Principal Gagne, Town of Norwich Select Board, and the Milton Fry Nature Area Committee. As parents of a rising second grader and an incoming kindergartner at Marion Cross School, it is critically essential for the children of the town of Norwich and all students and teachers of the Marion Cross School to have expansive and unlimited access to outdoor learning in the Milton Fry Nature Area. The incredible MCS teachers worked above and beyond during the 2020-2021 school year to successfully include outdoor learning into their COVID-19 safety measures and educational curriculum during a global pandemic. Our 300 plus students, parents, and quite frankly, the entire town succeeded because our children were in school in person. Time outside in nature is essential to the safety of the entire community and also the mental health and well-being of every student. We don't know if you truly understand the immense gravity of restricting the use of the forest. Outdoor learning has an exponentially positive impact on the development of these children whose childhood has been dramatically impacted by massive fear of dying or a friend or someone they love dying or getting sick, anxiety being around people, and childhood development disruption due to the global pandemic, including the inability to have play dates or spending time with relatives, multi-generational relationships, being in lockdown in their homes with fear of going outside, being told they can't hug anyone, or that they are too close to a friend. And add on top of it an overload of Zoom and unnaturally forced use of technology, including early addictions to technology, gaming, and the internet more than ever before in human existence. Being in nature is one of the only normal things we have left for our children as a last hope for them to develop inner joy, self-esteem, meaningful relationships, love of learning, and respect for nature. We in Norwich have the ability to help our children and teachers thrive again this school year and for generations beyond. We urge you to act with urgency on the access and use of the Milton Fry Nature Area as a critical and essential component to the Marion Cross School as soon as possible. Please provide the details as to what steps have been taken and the notified requests. Is this a finance or policy issue? What funds are available to solve this in an urgent timeframe? And who's in charge of this decision? Is this an educational ADA compliance component? Is it the responsibility of SAU 70, the Norwich School District, or the town of Norwich? Please provide details for clear next steps, a timeline, and designated responsibility for who's in charge to make this happen. We have a whole group of community support and parents who are willing and able to jump in and help if there's a need. Just let us all know. The Marion Cross school teachers are outstanding. We want to support them in every way possible to be able to teach, guide, and feel safe. We truly believe the 2020-2021 school year at MCS was one of the best in the world. Let's make 2021-2022 even better and work together to make this happen. Our son's favorite parts of the forest are building a campfire and playing in their own Roxaboxen. Based on the book by Alice McLaren, which I urge you to read. Our daughter is excited for her first year of kindergarten, filled with imagination and creativity of Forest Fridays. I know you're all working so hard and tirelessly for the entire community, the staff, and just thank you for your time. Sincerely, Jenny Barba and Christopher Coughlin.
Thank you very much, Jenny, for your letter. I do see it in our inboxes, and I'm not going to be able to address all of your questions right now, but we will provide feedback. My short answer right now is that the MOU that requires us to go to the next step is up for consideration tomorrow night at the Norwich Select Board meeting, and I anticipate that it will be passed and we'll be able to move forward within the next few days in scheduling the work that needs to be done in the forest. But we will work together to communicate to the community, Norwich larger community, as to when that will be available. But we're doing everything we can to make it available as soon as possible, because we do know, as you eloquently stated, the importance of having access to that area. And we're going to try to get it as soon as possible. So thank you for your letter and your reading it to us this evening. Are there any other comments addressing anything that may not be on the agenda this evening? Okay. No. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I have to actually look at the live audience.
Oh, no. No, I just raised my hand. I'm Wendy Teller, Ellsberg. I live in Norwich. The topic that Jenny was just speaking about, is that on the agenda for tonight, or is that not?
It's not on the agenda for the Norwich meeting tonight. It's going to the Norwich Select Board tomorrow night. They're going to consider the MOU that we've drafted with them to work out this exchange for the repairs that are needed to the forest and use of it in exchange for some work that, or not work, but access to the Marion Cross School for the rec department. They're considering that tomorrow night. Once they consider that, it'll come back to the Norwich School Board, and then we'll move forward with, assuming everything passes, we'll move forward with what needs to be done.
So I did want to share some thoughts on that topic. I have a question first. Is
Please.
there an idea of how long that work might take?
It's my understanding that it would, once it's begun, it would take about 30 days, but if anyone in the administration wishes to correct me because I'm incorrect, please do, but my understanding is about 30 days.
Okay. I would just like to share some thoughts, and I'll try to be brief, but I'm not good at being brief, so please cut me. First of all, I want to tell you all how much I appreciate your work, and I want to apologize for the fact that I never attend meetings except when I have something that I'm concerned about. Thank you all for your work, sincerely. I'm very impressed with each of you and deeply grateful to each of you. Secondly, like Jenny, I don't know how the decision was arrived at, and I'm not angry at anyone, but I would like to understand if there's a learning opportunity here for us as a community, because my understanding is that there was a situation in which it was fairly predictable that some work needed to get done. I'm not clear on whether that work got done. And now our whole community stands to lose out on a critically important piece of its resources. I understand that the town, the Milt Fry area, I believe, is owned by the town, whereas it's not owned by the school. And so from a legal adult thinking cap perspective, it may seem that they are two very separate places. But from a child-centered perspective, and perhaps from a teacher-centered perspective, they are one. And it's the connection between the school and its backyard, the Milt Fry area, that makes the Milt Fry area so special, and that makes the school so special. That's one of the things. So I feel it's very, I agree, it's sad. And I want to be very careful about respecting all the members of our community and not treading on confidentiality. But this is a community in which many people know many people, and many people know many things about many people. And it makes me deeply uncomfortable as both a parent and as a person who works in special education, to think that there may be a situation in which one family may be feeling as though there's a weight on them that should not be theirs to carry. I apologize for, I see some squinting, and I may be wrong. I'm feeling uncomfortable because it feels that from what I have heard, and I may be incorrect, so I apologize if I am, some things needed to happen to make a space accessible, and those things may not have happened in a timely fashion. And that could end up feeling unfair to everyone involved. So I don't think that there should be any blame. Again, I'm not upset with anyone in particular, but I do feel upset to have read that the solution that has been proposed to this problem is to put on hold the use of the area. I think as a community, I know as a community, we have the cognitive and emotional and financial capacity to work wonders, and parents, and there's money that people have, there's time that people are willing to put in. And I know that I'm not seeing it from a legal perspective, and I know that I'm not you all who are the experts, but it feels rather disappointing. So I don't blame anyone again, but I do wonder if things could have been done differently, and if they could have, what can we learn from this? Again, and you've worked so hard under the stress of the pandemic. It's not my place to judge anyone who's made any decision, but it does feel sad to me. So, and again, if I am mistaken in my understanding about things that I'm just alluding to, then I do apologize. I do trust you all. I do think you are all wonderful. Each and every one of you. Mr. Gagne, I respect you tremendously as our principal of Marion Cross, and I could never do your job. Never. So I did just want to speak about my discomfort about this situation. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for being here this evening. And like everything else during this pandemic, there's obviously been a lot of challenging decisions to make and some challenges in getting some of the work done. I like you said, there's no one, I don't think, who's at fault here, and we are working our best to get back to using the outdoor spaces. And I do think that we're going to make more outdoor spaces available in the interim to adjust for some of the lack of use that we have in the forest. So we're trying to make that possibility achievable in the nearer term, so that once we get back into the forest, we'll have that much more access to the woods. But thank you for doing that. And yes, in the back here.
Hi, I'm John Hampton. I live in Norwich.
John,
Can you come closer?
Yeah.
Because
the microphone's on the
We'll be able to hear you.
on the
Sure.
owl.
Hi, I'm John Hampton. I live in Norwich. I did not know these other parents would be speaking, and I'm very grateful that they did. Just reinforcing, I think, to one, thank you all. You have a thankless job. Thank you for what you're doing. It came as a surprise yesterday about the forest, so maybe it was in the works and I didn't know. And I just think we have a community of very engaged parents, of contractors, builders, people with, as you say, we have time, we have resources. The forest is such a critical portion. So if there's anything we as parents can do to help expedite, or just there's been no transparency. I understand there's some maybe legal issues involved. The town owns the land, and there's all kinds of things that I can't begin to understand. But if there's anything that the town, the parents can do to help support, I know nobody needs more committees, but just more people who can help get things done faster, because this is a crucial part of our child's experience at Marion Cross. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but
Okay,
there are a lot of engaged parents who are wanting to jump on this. So
thank you, John.
Yep.
Molly,
I'm Molly Riordan.
Molly, could you just stand up here, come up closer? Just
Yeah,
stand up closer.
I'm Molly
Thanks.
Riordan. I live in Norwich as well, and I want to thank everyone who spoke on this, and just to say to the town of Norwich that if this concerns you, tomorrow night, the select board meeting would be a good place So
Thank you,
thanks to
Molly.
all of you for all you're doing.
Thanks, Molly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, John. And we will do everything we can to move this along as fast as possible. And we will provide updates as soon as we have them with regard to what needs to be done to get the work done and how soon we'll move out with that. And I'm sorry that you didn't see it as a transparent process, but we will work to make it more so. Yes, Mark.
Maybe announce what time.
The Norwich Select Board meeting tomorrow night is at Zoom and Town Hall, I believe, starting at 6:30. And it's their agenda is posted. Any other questions from the public? And I don't see any online. So thank you, everyone, for your feedback this evening. And we're going to move down our agenda to the business requiring action. This was not listed as a discussion item. It's the approval of the 21-22 handbook because we did review it just last week at our regular meeting of August 19th. We just didn't have an action item on to approve it. So a couple of updates were made based upon the discussion we had at that meeting. A couple of changes were made in between now and then that you will see posted to your public content there. Sean, I only have one thing. Jessica copied and pasted what I put in there for the Norwich School Board meetings. There's just one line that needs to be taken out and then lower in it, section needs to be taken out, but I'll check in with you on that. I confused where it was supposed to go and that's my fault. But other than that, I think everything looks up to date unless any board members have any questions about it now. I'd be happy to entertain a motion. Kelly,
I move to approve the 2021-2022 handbook as presented.
do I have a second? Neil? And all those in favor? Yes, thank you. And we'll move down to our next item, which was discussed as well previously. I see that I actually missed that earlier here. So let me back up here if the board will indulge me. I jumped over to the action item on the handbook, my apology, to the business requiring discussion, which is the delegation of authority due to ongoing presence of COVID-19 pandemic. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, we do have to wait 10 days to actually approve of a policy, but we can delegate the authority for decisions due to the pandemic at this point in time and then revisit it to establish as policy at a date 10 days from now. We did discuss this in detail during the SAU meeting, so I don't know that we need to address anymore, given that it is basically the same approach that we had addressed at that point in time. But do any board members have anything they would like to add? Any questions at all? And not seeing any members of the public with any questions at all. Okay. And not seeing any. I apologize for the mix up there, but let's jump over again to the business requiring action. It does again say approval of policy. This is not a policy, but a motion to delegate the authority due to the ongoing presence of COVID-19 pandemic as presented to superintendents. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, please.
Move to delegate authority of the superintendent to make decisions regarding the reopening and operation of Marion Cross School, including but not limited to instructional mode, safety measures, and safety protocols that will be provided or required during the 2021-2022 school year.
Thank you. Have a second, Kelly, and all those in favor? Yes, thank you. We do not have need for an executive session, so we'll skip over that. Agenda topics for the next meeting, you will see them very soon as we are meeting again on September 1st. But if you have anything you would like to add to that agenda between now and then, please do so. And please send them to me by email. And with that, I would be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn. Kelly.
Move to adjourn at 7:23 p.m.
Thank you. Do I have a second by Lisa and all those in favor? Thank you. With apologies to Kelly McConnell and others for the delaying of the start of the Dresden meeting, which members of the public will need to again leave this Zoom meeting and re-enter the next. So thank you all.